right, what's up, everyone? My name is Ajwritescrypto. Welcome to the show. Tuesday, August 12th. What a weekend! What a weekend! I don't even know where to start. I really don't know where to start this stream. I guess we'll start from the beginning. Rare Evo was the best. If Jada and the baby were there, that probably would have been one of the best weekends of my life. Uh, I definitely missed them the whole time, but we had a really, really great time at Rare Evo. First of all, shout out to Wes and Rand and Evan and everyone at that conference. I mean, I went to that conference, you know, 3 years ago now, back when it was in Denver and it was kind of just getting started, and it was known as more of a Cardano only conference when they were trying to get more multi-chain stuff involved. And then, last year in Vegas was the first time I spoke at a crypto conference, and I interviewed Mark from Algorand, and that went well. But things getting better. And then, of course, just this past weekend in Las Vegas, I mean, it was the best weekend. It was the best weekend you could have asked for. I did a panel with Mark from Algarand, Benjamin from Multiverse X, and Chris Baird from Project Catalyst, which is like the funding mechanism for Cardano, building thousands of projects, over 2,000 projects actually. And it was a really interesting panel about how are we going to onboard the next billion users. And of course, I started off with all the numbers. Well, there's only 8 billion people in the world, and 550 million people already use crypto. So, right now, globally, 1 in every 6.8 people holds crypto. How do we get that number to 16 to 17%? And it was a really solid panel. I am going to get the footage from Rare Evo, compile it, and put it on the Ajwritescrypto channel. It'll probably be a week or so before we get the footage from them. But the day before, I did do a really solid one-on-one with Mark Vandenberg, the CMO of Algorand. And dude, I'll give it to Mark. Like we hung out and like went to get coffee, and I was like, "You got some time? Like you want to make a video?" He was like, "I got time." And Mark and I so basically I did a tweet that was like, what questions should I ask Mark on stage? But then when it was a panel, I realized I could just use the questions from the audience and make like, the Algo fam wants to know all these things. Well, here's a one-on-one interview with questions directly from the audience. And that's really where my relationship with Algorand started, was trying to be a voice for the Algo fam to ask the people high up the ladder the questions, the everyday holder wants to know. And that's really where my role started. So to kind of do a follow-up interview in that, like, one-on-one down that street made a lot of sense. And it was actually really cool. I mean, Mark sat down with me for 2 hours. We went over every question everyone asked, and we boiled it down to 6 questions, because a lot of questions were kind of the same thing, kind of rephrased and stuff. And it was awesome. Like we hung out for 3.5 hours filming that interview, and that's a guy who gives a shit, man. Like I'll give it to Algorand. They have come a long way. Mark was a really good hire. I mean, last year when we did our panel, that was like his first month at Algorand. But now that he's been around for more than a year at this point, and we've got to know each other, and I'm really excited to share that interview with you guys. I am going to release that tomorrow. That's coming out tomorrow. Probably no video besides the live stream today. Just a quick overview. We are live streaming today. We are live streaming tomorrow, and that will be it for this week. Maybe I'll add in an extra members only, a shorter members only tomorrow. But Thursday, I'm traveling again, going to Chicago for UFC 319 for the Khamzat Chimaev fight. Of course, there will be a lot of Polymarket updates on that fight. And then we're coming back for one day, and then we're going to Maryland. I am going to bring some stuff with me so I can make more content in Maryland, but obviously we want the baby to meet the other side of the family on the East Coast, and to do that, we're going to Budds Creek for motocross and stuff. So yeah, for sure. 6 Figs says, watching from 30,000 feet in the air. Good to see you at Rare Evo. Good to see you as well, 6 Figs. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Ken Rosher, SWFL Crypto, Jasmine Target. Okay, we're getting some questions in here. Let me get a pen. So if someone wants a vet update, I can do that. So vet, Jasmine plus Target. Okay. Yo. What's up, Dennis? How you doing, man? And GRT Weekly. Okay, we can do those things. So later in the show, we're going to look at a VeChain update. We're going to do a Jasmine technical analysis plus a Target. as well as a GRT graph weekly update that will be coming later in the show, straight from the audience. I do like to answer what you guys are saying. Anyway, so I did the interview with Mark. We did the panel. The panel was really awesome. I really have grown to like Benjamin from Multiverse X, the EGLD project. I think they're going to have some success. Like, I don't think, you know, am I saying 20x? No, I'm not saying 20x, but do I think they're going to do well? Yeah, they're probably going to do pretty good. They're really good dudes. They work really hard. And Benjamin made a believer out of me for sure. You know what I mean? I didn't even really have a fully formed opinion about EGLD, rather other than I held it a little bit in 21. I made some money and I sold it. I never really got too far into the project. But from doing the panel and researching the project and you know, I like it. I'm going to look into it more. I might add it to the portfolio here. And Epic. Oh yeah, Epic is, we can add that. Epic is doing well. We did the one video on it. I'm going to have another video on it here soon. That's one that I gladly signed up for, that they're doing really cool things. It's basically backed by Ripple. You know, how couldn't it fail? You know, so there's that aspect. So yeah, so we did the panel, and then we did the Web3 Influencer Awards, which was really cool. Man, like I won. Here, I'll show you guys the belts. We got a HODL award, which is basically like recognition to the Pleasantons, as you can see the baby on there, kind of for like, you know, having the baby, you know, having a near-death experience, like when my lung collapsed late last year, and you know, just kind of a pat on the back thank you award. HODL awards are not like a voted for by the audience thing, but these other three are all by the audience. We won here at Ajwritescrypto. We won Best Variety Show. I really like that. Can't complain. I'll keep it going here. And then from this here, we can change the camera. So the last influencer awards, we won the golden upvote back there. And then of course, back to back golden upvote winner 2 years in a row, which is insane because all the other categories are like, if there's, you know, best education, there's like 6 people and you click the person. Golden upvote, you type the person's name in and anyone could type anyone's name in. So to win golden upvote is super special, especially I think a couple thousand people voted. So to get through everyone was really big. And then of course, I think my favorite belt is Influencer of the Year, IOTY, and super proud of that. Super proud of all the love and support from everyone. I mean, 1 second. I still got to hang them all up on the wall. Let me fix the belts here. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the groggers, if it wasn't for you guys and my friends and family and everyone voting for me, I certainly wouldn't have won Influencer of the Year. And obviously we don't have, you know, 1 million followers. You know, we've really have only, Ajwritescrypto has been a YouTube channel for not even a year and a half, you know, so I'm so grateful for the recognition and to be the known up and comer and to have the support from everybody in the industry. You know, the people that have had my back in the industry, like, mean the world to me, like Crypto Face, Aaron and Austin from Altcoin Daily, Wendy O, George from Cryptos R Us. There's so many others, but like, you know, some of the big names and even Scott Melker, Wolf of Wall Street, have really kind of taken me under their wing and have helped me along the way. And I could not be more grateful for those people. And it means a lot for them to have my back and to, you know, we're coming, everybody. This channel it's a smaller channel, but we're coming. And I couldn't be more grateful for, to win literally every award I was nominated for. So if it wasn't for you guys, that wouldn't have happened. I do see more questions coming in, but I'll get to them in a minute. Oh, I don't want to show you guys that yet. You're not supposed to see that. Wait, get out of here. Wait, where's the Twitter page? Okay, so yeah, kind of overview. We went from 0 followers to Influencer of the Year in 1,200 days. In 600 days, I went from barely paying rent to 7 figures. Drama over discipline. This industry and the people in it saved my life. Thank you, everyone, forever humble. Shout out to Aaron taking a picture of me in the corner. My little speech there from when I won Influencer of the Year. Love that. Be sure to check that out on Twitter. We played the Rare Evo Poker Classic. I tripled up in the first hand, which was insane. Straight over pocket kings. And went on to get 32nd or something like that out of like about 100 people. It was a turbo tournament, so the blinds go very fast, but it was a super fun game. And right there, the guy next to Austin with the jacket on, that is Joey Ingram. He's a professional poker player who's been a killer, like Omaha player. He's a big YouTuber. He's been in the industry for 20 years. You know, if you play poker, you know who Joey Ingram is. And we actually chatted. I mean, he's actually going to help me get on like professional poker live streams, like Poker at the Lodge or the games in Las Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of really awesome live streams that happen all the time in poker that have thousands and thousands of viewers, like the Doug Polk stuff, like at the Lodge and everything. And I think that it would be cool to, one, you know, get more involved, you know, in the poker industry, and to use that as like a platform to get more followers, kind of reaching out into different demographics to come check out the channel and learn about crypto and stuff, and just the opportunity to play on the really live streams and the really big games, to have that in the industry is awesome. So thank you to Joey, and I'm really looking forward to mixing it up with the pros. I do consider, I'm not saying I'm like a professional poker player, but I would consider myself like pretty freaking good at poker. Like, you know what I mean? Probably this year alone, I'd probably say I'm in the $70,000 to $75,000 in cash games just this year. I'm in the green. I keep track of everything from every game I played. Obviously, I've done better on Polymarket than I have done on the felt, but I have also done pretty well on the felt in the past couple months here. So I'm really looking forward to playing some bigger games on some live streams. So thank you to Joey Ingram. And back to the overview. Then Altcoin Daily tweeted it. I also did the interview, did the little before, like the shuffle up and deal. I did the video there, which was really cool. I basically found out I was doing the intro like 10 minutes before it started. They were like, hey, can you do the shuffle up and deal? And I was like, sure, man, no problem. So I did a really good job. You can't tell that I was shitting my pants before I started, but I nailed it. But it was pretty funny. And then Bitcoin doing super well. I do believe we're going to see a $200,000 Bitcoin this year. I will get into that a little bit more when we get into the charts. And then I had a really close call on my airplane ride home. And I got to thinking, why is there not a parachute under the seat of every damn seat on every airplane ever? I mean, even if 20% of the parachutes work and only 10% of people have the balls to jump, give us a chance. Give us a chance. Like, really, though. And then I do want, the reason I kind of went through the tweets here is because I wanted to get to this tweet. Attention to the VFam, to the groggers, to everyone paying attention. We extended the deadline for the second Tesla giveaway by 1 week. It was going to be today, but it didn't make sense to do it today because I'm going to UFC 319 in Chicago. So we have an extra week to kind of promote it, to talk about it, to do videos, to talk to people in Chicago about VeChain and everything, what we're doing, and say, hey, like, you know, we're doing a Tesla giveaway. It's, you know, it's in this weekend. I can say, yeah, it's not happening on Monday. So, you know, sign up for the giveaway. You'll never know. So we extended it just to get some more people in. I mean, we already have done way better. We have over 5,000 more signups this time than last time, which is good. So, but we want to keep going, and we want to, it makes more sense to do it next week than this week for me, considering the live streams and everything, the way everything's set up. So there you go. That is kind of the Twitter overview. I do have a really interesting story here about BNB. Obviously, this channel is sponsored by Bitunix. Bitunix is my favorite place to trade crypto. I obviously no VPN, no KYC, super easy to get going on Bitunix. I have, you know, everyone in my Telegram group has signed up for Bitunix. All like my kind of sleeper pick trades are based off of Bitunix volume, because you know the top 10 coins in volume stay there, but sometimes a coin that's not even in the top 100 will somehow have more trading volume than Doge or Cardano or whatever. And we keep track of those coins because the volume doesn't last forever. And those are the coins where we hit the home runs in the Telegram group like all the time. So obviously Bitunix is my favorite place to trade, but BNB, the coin, the coin itself has pushed up. It's past 810 as institutional interest heats up. And I hit this story because I was looking at all the stories today, because at dinner the other night, I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but CryptoFace, I was talking to CryptoFace because he hosted us for dinner, the Altcoin Daily, Tina, Tiffany Fong, we all had dinner. And CryptoFace, I was like, yo, CryptoFace, like, yo, what's an altcoin? If you had to pick one altcoin, like, to kind of zoom in on right now, what would it be? And he kind of looked at me and turned his head sideways and kind of smiled. He said, dude, like, I think you should look at BNB. Like, it's ripping. Like, I've been trading it, And I think if you haven't been trading it, you should at least look at the chart. And I said, okay, BNB. So I that's actually one that I haven't really traded that much, to be honest. But then, you know, I took his advice. I'm always willing to take advice. And I see stories like this. And then I looked at the chart, and, you know, he's just looking at a 2 hour here on BNB. I mean, this thing has been in like a pretty respectable uptrend since, let me kind of scroll this down a little bit. Y'all can see it a little bit better. And as you can see, this uptrend from this little low here in July. So basically, can you guys see that? Okay, you can. So this little sideways range here, for the most part, you know, it was kind of underneath 675 for, I would say, like most of this rectangle. Let's get a little rectangle out from when it went under it to here. So really, you know, there was a big dip. So if we kind of look at this, like eliminating this dip here, you could say that it spent most of this range here, so which was 42 days. Other than this down dip, it spent 42 days. Other than this, it spent 42 days in a less than 8% range. So when a large market cap coin, well, really any market cap coin, but it's more significant the larger the market cap stays in a sideways range like that for that long, you need to be super aware of that level. And then, of course, we kind of come up. Where is it retest to? Support, resistance. And from that point, we had the BNB rocket ship, you know, in the month of July. And so from that point to the local top, 27% move up in 17 days. And then July, you know, so July we had kind of a pump, and then we kind of came into August. And right here, sitting at August 2nd, I was not super optimistic about the entire month of August. I kind of like read a bunch of bearish news and was kind of thinking like, okay, well, if we think rate cuts are coming later in the year, it would make sense to bleed August and then explode the rest of the year. But now we've kind of have caught back up. What I'm really hoping for here is that we continue past, because really nothing matters if we get rejected, like altcoins, I'm saying, if we get rejected before the previous high, like put in a lower high, that would be really bearish moving forward. And of course, we'd kind of have to take another couple of weeks to reset and another couple of weeks to wake back up, which would put us around our deadline, you know, September, October. Really November, December is really when a lot of other people are saying we're going to go to the moon. But what I would say, if you wanted to keep track of BNB here, I would be looking at this support resistance right here, which was rejected from several times, and we're above that box now. That's at 819, and then of course previous high here at 860. So 819 here, 860 here. I don't care what happens in between. The break of 860, I'd go long. The loss of 819, I go short. That's kind of what I'm looking at for BNB. I'm not really much. I'm more of a range trader than a guesser, and that has made me plenty of money. So that's how I'm looking at BNB right now. And it has been told by one of my really good friends that has never led me wrong. CryptoFace has never led me astray. And he told me to watch BNB. So I'm looking at BNB. Moving on to the stories here. SEC focuses on clear crypto regulatory framework after the Ripple case dismissal, which happened while I was in Las Vegas. And, you know, Hester Pierce has been a big supporter of crypto. She actively went against Gary Gensler, actively questioned him, challenged him publicly. I was actually thinking that like the left was going to push Hester out, and luckily we get the Trump administration that moves her up while Gary's out. So we got extremely lucky with our regulatory. And guys, this is kind of, you know, I think there's a lot of bears out there that are just so used to crypto getting suppressed, so used to being on the wrong side of the coin, that they are unwilling to think bigger than the current. I mean, literally at the poker table, there was a guy that runs a crypto project saying that Bitcoin's not going to go past 140 at the top of the bull market. I was like, dude, like, what are you talking about? It's already 120. You know what I mean? You don't think we're going to get to 180 or 200? Like, and this is what I'm saying. People are so used to losing that they're not thinking big enough. But this is what I see it. I don't even need the chart to tell you this. So the very top of 2021, crypto was a $4 trillion industry at the very top. We did that with shit regulation, with Gary Gensler breathing down our necks, with the grim reaper of regulation standing behind us holding a scythe. We became a $4 trillion industry. And now we're still under $4 trillion, but we actually haven't had like the next run up. Ethereum's having a nice run, but that's how it works. You know, it goes Bitcoin, then large caps, and then it kind of bleeds down from there. And Benjamin Cowan has been correct about this in his recent tweet, saying that it's ETH's turn right now. And I agree with him there. But we still haven't seen what we saw back in 2021 when Ethereum dominance broke from 70% to 40%. We have not seen that free fall. And during that free fall is when we will see the alts shine. And so, I mean, although my crypto portfolio has done very well, the title of this video is Crypto Portfolio Explodes, because it has. I mean, I'll show you the public portfolio we've been building here for this year on Ajwritescrypto. And we're up like $30-some thousand in 24 hours. And alts are doing okay. But like, I want to be clear when I say this, we're not even close. We are not even close. Like, I think that if we were a $4 trillion industry before, we should at least, once we break that previous support resistance, if we go to 10 trillion, I don't think we'll ever go back below 4 trillion again. This industry, with the accessibility, with Wall Street coming in, all the altcoin ETFs, of course, regulation and the Trump administration, and kind of the macro of everyone moving everything to like RWA tokenization onto the blockchain. If you really think this industry isn't capable of going to 8 to 10 to maybe 12 trillion this bull run, I don't know what you're doing here. If you don't think it can do that, why are you a crypto guy? Like, this is at minimum market cap, top of the bull run, could be in 26. If there's ever an argument for a lengthened cycle, I've talked about this 100 times. This cycle very well could go in deep into 26. It could continue because crypto adoption might kind of correct the 4-year cycle. I'm not saying there won't be bear markets, but the bear markets will have a higher ceiling, you know? So ultimately, my point is that it's still early. We're still at pretty good accumulation levels, even if you consider alt prices now compared to their December 2024 high. We still got a lot of room to run, and we still have plenty of time to accumulate, but things are starting to happen. And if you're still heavy dry powder, it's definitely time to consider to get ready for the bull run. I have been buying and buying and buying and buying for a while. I am where the prices now are above basically all of my average buy prices, which is good. So we're in profits, but now it's, I think it's going to be pretty ridiculous by the end of this year. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with me on that. Quick overview, almost 70 something on YouTube, 300 on Twitter. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I don't have my second light on my face here because it's hot in this room and I don't want to sweat. So I just have one light on the side of my face. But that's that. Smash the likes, leave comments, get involved, all the things. I am going to go over a few charts during this show. I had a shout out from the chat. They requested for a VET chart, a Jasmine chart plus target, the Graph weekly chart, and the Epic chart. I also have a super chat from Jeff Rigdon asking for when Suede will be on Coinbase. I don't know if Suede's going to be on Coinbase. I'm not saying it can't happen, but that it is a smaller project and they're still getting listed on other exchanges. I'm actually trying to get them listed on Bitunix as we speak. I believe right now they're really only available on MEXC, but they have a little while to go before they're going to have major exchange listings. But they are partnered with Chainlink. They are partnered with Virtuals. I actually talked to a couple people from the Virtuals team at Rare Evo, and I think that I believe that it can do fine without a Coinbase listing, considering how far down it is on the market cap list. This is more of a passion project for me rather than like I think it's going to 30x type thing. Not saying it can't, but I do think it doesn't need a Coinbase listing to be successful. There are plenty of coins that have done very well without a Coinbase listing. Don't think that that's the only measuring stick for success. All right, so keep it rolling here. Also, just in September, rate cut odds surge above 94% rate cuts incoming. And this is something I mentioned on not the previous No Sweat Bets, but the one before that. I actually have it right here. So this is I think this is before I clicked refresh. I think before the 25 bit decrease 72% on Polymarket, but I just clicked on this tab. I don't think this is the current number. Let's see if it's moved up. Let's click on it and get it to refresh, and we'll see if it's moved up. Oh, wow. So it actually is, although they're saying 94% chance, only 61% on Polymarket in terms of if there's a decrease at all, with a 38% stuck on no change. Well, the reason I bring this up is because they did say in the beginning of the year that we're likely to see 2 interest slashes this year. I would like to see 3, but I think 2 would help. I don't think that's baked into the market. You have to understand that Bitcoin has done what it's done this year, and Ethereum has done what it's done this year, and alts did what they did this summer without a rate cut. And you have to think that that is a big sign of strength for the entire crypto industry to see that type of movement without that much help from the macro other than positive regulation. That just goes to show that it's posturing, and that once we have the interest slashes, and consequentially helping the M2 chart, consequentially helping risk assets, where risk assets, crypto and Bitcoin are a part of that. So I do believe we're going to see a Fed decision in September. And I think I would want them to go more hawkish. I would like them to start with a 50 cut and go 25 cuts from there, which is something we've seen them do before. They start hawkish and dove off from there. But I would not bet on a 50 bip. I mean, even if you bet, if you bet $50, what would you win here? There's 1 million in volume. So bet yes. I don't know why is that not updating. Oh, let me refresh this page because it's not showing me. 1 second. I've also never logged in. This isn't the computer I do my Polymarket on, so I don't have it listed. Okay, so there we go. I just refreshed. All right, the first refresh didn't work. Now it says 81%. That makes more sense. It said 55%, and I refreshed it, nothing happened, and then I refreshed it again, and then it went to 81% for a 25 bip. That makes a lot more sense. Because I was about to say, if you can bet on a 25 bip from here and double your money, that's just dumb. But if they say they start hawkish with a 50 bip, you bet $50, you'd win 877. I'm not saying to do that, but that is something we've seen them do. Maybe throw a very inconsequential amount of money at that. Even $25, you win 438 just in case they go more hawkish. But even in 25 bips, say you bet $100, 123, $1,000. 10 grand would get you 12 grand back. That's a lot of exposure. That's a scary bet. But what I would actually rather do, I wouldn't go no. Yeah, I would rather bet yes on 25 bip than no on no change. But you also have to remind yourself that when you see heavy volume pools like that, say you bet 100,000 on yes for 25 bips, you get $15,000 back. And those high exposure, lower risk bets are where people with deep pockets will risk a lot of money to win a little bit. There was one of the times where no change was at 97%. Some guy bet like $3 million to win 69,000, and he did it. He was correct, but it's a high exposure bet. So interesting to see that for sure. But yeah, hopefully September is the month we begin to see the rate cuts, and that will obviously bleed into our timeline, where our timeline is what? The timeline is a year and a half after the halving, we see a crypto run. Well, we're still on that timeline. That is yet to be proved false. So I've been following that the whole time. So shout out to Jason Owen in the chat. Lucky enough to meet Jason's family, his son Tucker, hung out with them. Super cool guys. Jason ran it pretty deep in the poker tournament, made it to the last 3 tables. Also was wearing his Get Rich or Get Wrecked shirt at the conference. I do appreciate you. Fellow Cybertruck driver as well. Shout out to Jason Owen, man. Hell of a grogger, that guy. Really cool dude. Cool dude. Good people. Good people. All right. So what else we got here? We got a handful of other stories I want to go over to. Then we'll hit the charts. Here we go. Ethereum. It's multi-year high above 4,500 and ramping corporate and institutional interest. And this, you know, Ethereum went home, like Ben Cowan said, and had popped up from there. And guys, this is what happens when something gets a spot ETF. Any altcoin that's up for a spot ETF, look at it. Look at it, because this is what's going to happen. This thing's seeing, you know, record-breaking inflows for this project, corporate accumulation. No thanks. Bitmine Immersion Technology disclosed plans to raise as much as $20 billion for additional Ethereum acquisitions. The company already holds $5 billion in ETH. And guys, when you see the corporate institutional money setting up to buy stuff, they're not scalping the market. Okay, this is long-term plays. Don't think that institutional money is here for 5%. They're not. They're here for the long haul. And this is something we've talked about right here. This is a chart that I've had on this channel for a while. I remember talking about it last week where Ethereum was rejected, didn't even get there, rejected again. This 4123 level. This is a level that you guys have known about on this show. If you follow this show, you've known about that level. And that was the break of a multi-year high. I mean, March of 24, we were rejected there. December of last year, we were rejected there. And Ethereum is beyond where it was, literally from the December high. So that tells me that the December high target for altcoins that have not been hit yet, that's coming. That's coming for the alts. And now even from that level to now, Ethereum's up, you know, over 10% in 4 days. I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue to run. Hopefully it's not setting up a bear div on the 2 hour, because it has been really pushing heavy green here. But, you know, even if you want to zoom like 12-minute chart, you know, kind of scalp trade ideas for Ethereum, and kind of make this bigger so you guys can see it. So how I would break this down. So obviously this level was rejected and then used for support resistance after that. What is this level here for Ethereum? That would be 4364, 4,364. All right, so that's big support resistance level. And then our new local high is 4642. So I would set that range up, 4,642. So that alarm goes off. You go long, you continue. But if you want to scalp short, I would use this little bit here, because it had a rejection there and then followed up to that. And you can see the kind of the cliff here in the volume. So I don't really expect it to sit in this range, but you also see the 50 EMA is that the 50 is going to come up as this comes down. So if it closes below this level at, I would say, 4525. So I would set an awareness alarm at 4525. And if that alarm goes off and we're below the 50 EMA, you could consider a scalp short on Ethereum. But remember, I said scalp short, not intra-week short. That would be a scalp idea. But I would say this would be my scalp range for Ethereum right there. That's how I would break this down, especially because we kind of see this rectangle here, right? Let me actually draw the rectangle there so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So Ethereum kind of traded inside of this range, all right? And look at that. That's like a perfect rectangle range where it came in here in the beginning of August and it ranged inside of this 5% level for 3 days and 7 hours. Anytime you see a large cap range sideways in a range 6-7% range, 5.66% range for days and days, 2 days, 3 days. I mean, you got to be aware of that. And that, I mean, there's no better example than this right here. And the reason that rectangle is important is because it was every time it kind of topped off, it came back to the bottom, topped off, came back to the bottom. And really, it kind of got smaller as it went. It did have sort of a trend line inside of there as well. That doesn't matter as much. But my point is that the current point of control is actually back in this rectangle around 4,300. And say Ethereum comes from here to point of control, that's a 6% move down the hill. But I would rather use a 4,525 as more of a gauge, because if that support resistance goes off, and we close below the 50 EMA, because the 50 EMA is almost there now, the price will go below the 50 EMA probably before it goes below 4525. So that's why that's like the condition for that idea, but still kind of be aware of that as you go. I do want to check on something really fast. About 100 people in the house on YouTube, more than that on Twitter. Thank you guys for being here. If you're watching the show, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We are live streaming tomorrow, and I'm going to do a quick members only tomorrow as well. And tomorrow we're also releasing the one-on-one Algarand interview with Mark Vandenberger that Mark took 3-4 hours of his time to film with me the day before our panel at Rare Evo. So super grateful to Mark and super excited to share that interview with you guys. You guys are really going to love it. Mark Prega, shout out Sir AJ, solid active follower here. Appreciate you, Mark. Thanks for being here. Shout out to all the groggers. Manifesting the Tesla win. Hey man, it's completely random. Anyone can win. I'm going to click the button and hope someone wins it. The last person that won it was in Nigeria, and $42,000 for someone in Nigeria definitely changed their life. But I would like to see like a grogger, an active grogger win the Tesla. I mean, it's not up to me. It is completely random. I would never rig a giveaway in a million years because I do so many of them. Your reputation is tied to your honesty and your giveaways, and I would never do that my audience dirty. It is, want you guys to know, I do them live and it is completely random, and never in a million years would I take that opportunity away from someone else. And the reason we do these high level giveaways is to give back to the audience. That's like the whole point. Sometimes people don't get mad if they don't win, but I'm like, hey dude, there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people that sign up for this. Like, you can't get mad if one person doesn't win. Like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? So, I don't think the SEC never sent Algorand a letter. That's actually not true. The SEC did put them on a list, but comparing them as a security, but they never received a letter from the SEC. That's very important to point out. And Robinhood is beginner level stuff. Real crypto people should not use Robinhood. Robinhood is the type of company that, when the whole Wall Street bets thing happened, that when people were trying to sell and make their money, they sell, you can't sell. No, wait, you can't sell. Waited for the chart to come down more, and then people could sell. That's why decentralization is so important. That's why crypto prevents things like that from happening. And if you're a real crypto person, you should not use Robinhood. You should use Bitunix or even a beginner place like Coinbase or something. But I would say, obviously there's the argument of, cold storage versus hot storage versus whatever you want. But I would say Robinhood isn't it. That's what I will say that. Okay. Just checking, brother. Sonny said VeChain is trying to spot like Benji in a different way. That is something I want to talk or learn more about than before I talk about it. I obviously know what it is, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't know. I don't hold it either, but I don't want to speak on it because I'm not that informed to talk about it. And I'm honest, if I don't know what I need to know about something, I'd rather tell you that than try to pull something out of my ass. Most people don't do that, but I will just keep it real with you guys. What do I have to lose? You know what I mean? All right. So, keep the ball rolling here. And guys, make sure we did extend the Tesla giveaway for an extra week here. It is going off Monday, the 18th. So 6 days from now, 5 days and 16 hours, we will do the Tesla giveaway live on this stream. You have 1 week left. And remember, if you don't want the car, we will give you $42,000. Also, actually $42,490. And also 15 winners will receive $100 in VeChain. 10 people will win exclusive VeChain merch packs you can't get anywhere else. And the grand prize is the Tesla or the money. So all together, there are 26 winners, where the 26th winner is the grand prize winner. So there you go. I do want to take a quick look at CoinGecko here and look at gainers and losers just to get a feel for the volatility. Top 100. All right, so pump.fun finally having a pump. I mean, pump.fun, its chart looked like a meme coin. It just had a little baby run and then fall. So of course this thing was due for a run. I'd love to see that, but then kind of look, but guys, this is actually really interesting. Look, besides the stake Salana and all that, look at the winners here. Chainlink, top 15 project, top 10 if you don't include stable coins and all that. Salana, top 5 project. Aave, Litecoin, Cardano, Render. So the larger caps are seeing the move right now. And that's really great, actually. And then, of course, Injective and Arbitrum, guys. Arbitrum is a project that if you know me or have followed the Telegram or a subscriber on Twitter, you would know that I have been buying a lot more Arbitrum lately. I bought a bunch of Arbitrum at like 38 cents, and it's doing super well. It's down on the year, but in the past 3 months, 11%, 1 month, 15%. And I actually want to look at the Arbitrum chart. Let's get rid of this ETH chart here. Pull up ARB. Okay, I found a chart that's not marked, which is perfect. Go to the daily. All right. So let's actually talk about Arbitrum here for a second. And this is actually extremely interesting. So Arbitrum is a coin that I think is going to have a lot of success. And it's interesting because, you know, it had its 24 run. It went to 241, came back. The December run didn't even, it barely got to support resistance. But now, with where it sits, I think it is going to be, if you were lucky enough to be someone like myself who understood the value prop with Arbitrum, and like right here, 46 cents for support resistance, which is where it's been rejected multiple times now. Now look at, let me kind of make this bigger for the chat. Now look at previous support resistance here. Since then, rejected 1, 2, 3. So Arbitrum getting above 46 cents, like basically getting to 50 cents and to go from there. That's an insane value prop. I mean, I think that just because something has underperformed a previous run does not mean you should ignore it now. It's pushing in on a bull cross on the daily chart. And even if it just goes back to the December pump, what's that? I mean, that's 163% if it goes to the December high. That's insane. And that's actually why I've been targeting Arbitrum since it came down to these levels, because I realized, okay, when it was down here, not even measuring from the very bottom, but say you got Arbitrum at 30 cents, 29 cents. I mean, that's 330%, 320% from the December high. And that's why I've been really looking at Arbitrum and kind of looking at the daily. What can you guys, okay, you guys can see it perfect. So look at, it kind of comes down, lower lows, and then curves. Boom. Look at that pump. Just look at that pump alone. From the first higher low right here to the top, 216%. And then look, it comes down. First higher low, boom. Look at that pump from measuring from right here to there. That was 157%. So look, so really it comes down, first higher low right there, bam. It comes down, first higher low right there, bam. Look, comes down, first higher low already was put in. And now that it's setting where the support resistance level for this pump was here, support resistance for this level was here, the support resistance level for this level is the level that we have marked here at about, 49, 50 cents. So Arbitrum big, I will to be clear, big Arbitrum alarm at 49.5. 49.5 Arbitrum, I'm telling you. And why do I like Arbitrum so much? Well, actually, Mark from Algorand actually pointed something out to me, because I always use CoinGecko. For some reason, I've leaned more towards CoinGecko than CoinMarketCap. But CoinGecko actually includes, it includes too many, I'll just show you the main page, because CoinGecko includes a lot of the staked coins and the Salana staking or Ethereum staking or whatever. So like where on CoinGecko, Algorand's like 60 something, on CoinMarketCap, Algorand's 44 by market cap. So it's actually more accurate for the top 100 to use CoinMarketCap instead of CoinGecko. But I have just, for some reason, I've always leaned to CoinGecko to look at things. I don't know why, I just have. The point I'm making, besides that, look at this chunk of coins by market cap. When you're talking building crypto portfolios, if you're trying to align your goals with your crypto portfolio, and look at this. So right here, Arbitrum, 2.4 million. Underneath it, Algarand, 2.36 million. Pengu under that, which already had a really solid pump. And then under that, VeChain, 2.2 billion. So right there, Arbitrum, Algarand, VeChain. and I have some Pengu too, but the main three are Arb, Algo, Vet. Those three coins, in my opinion, should all go to 10 billion. They should all go to 10 billion minimum at this, like at the top of this bull run. And those are like the kind of functionality coins, the utility projects that have a real value prop that are completely undervalued. And like, if you kind of think to yourself, all right, you know, in my Uber driver, for instance, in Las Vegas, right? Oh man, I'm buying more XRP. I'm buying more of this, more of that. Okay, here's XRP's market cap, $194 billion. First of all, if XRP went to $6, you wouldn't even double your money. You're not even doubling your money if XRP goes to $6. But now at three, let's just say it's 330. All right. So if XRP went to 660, that would require another $194 billion to get to its market cap. What do you think is going to happen first? Is XRP going to basically add $200 billion to its market cap? Or is Algorand going to go from 2.3 to 4.6? Like, do you guys really think, like Arbitum, Algarand, VeChain, those three picks that are very close to each other in market cap, do you think XRP is going to outperform them in the inflow department by 194 billion to 2? No. And that is why if you're the type of person that is trying to get as many X's as possible in your portfolio, you need to scroll down the list. And listen, I'm all for having a couple anchor picks. I'm not above holding Cardano. I hold Cardano, but even that's 30 billion. I mean, if it could go to 100 billion, you're actually talking X's here. But basically what I'm saying is that I'm ignoring, for HODL picks, I'm ignoring XRP, I'm ignoring Salana, and I'm only having a couple large caps. I like Chainlink, I like Cardano, I like Sui, I like Hedera. I also like Avalanche, but I don't have as much of it. I do hold a little bit though. But you want the chunk of your portfolio to scroll down a bit. I mean, ENA, that's one we've talked about a lot in the Telegram group. We're up 38% in the past week. Anybody who's been in the group for at least the past month better have made money trading ENA, because we've been talking about that coin a lot. But then even once you kind of get to Ondo, 36 by market cap, 3.3 billion. Now we're talking, because it goes to 10 billion. You made substantial money. You know what I mean? So we're going to get a lot more X's for a lot less money in terms of market cap if you're targeting anything from Ondo down. So Ondo, I really like. I don't mind. I don't hate Aptos either. Arbitrum, Algarand, VeChain, Render, maybe FET, Injective, XDCs when I used to talk about, not as much anymore. Quant, once I used to talk about, not as much. I don't talk about as much anymore. I really like Arrow. We've been dead set on Arrow. Got a bunch of that, up 67% in the past week, and worked its way back into the top 100. If you know this channel, you know that we've been talking Arrow for a while. Pendle's one we've talked about. Jasmy, look at this, up 27% in the past week. When Jasmy was at 1.2, 1.3, I was jumping up and down like this. Buy Jasmy, buy Jasmy. Now it's at 1.8. Like, the point is that if you're trying to get the gains, the real gains, you can't be scared to scroll down the list, because this is kind of where the magic happens. The magic happens further down the list. And when we look at the portfolio I've built, look at this. Let me actually refresh this just for the sake of accuracy. Guys, we put 410,000 for something like that in this bag. It's already 600, basically 650K. We're up 39,000. Basically, we're up $40,000 today. Today. That's insane. But why? This would not have happened if this was the top 10 portfolio. But look at it. Look at what we're buying. Ondo. Okay, we are now to compare back to this. Ondo is not a crazy project in terms of market cap. The market cap's only 3.3 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Whereas the coins that the Uber drivers all talk about, you know, even Hedera, man, like, I love HBAR, but it's an $11 billion market cap. For HBAR to 10x, it has to go to 100 billion. I don't think that's going to happen this run. Like, and here's the thing. When I talked about HBAR all the time, it was 6 cents. It was 7 cents. Now it's 27 cents, 26 cents. Like the ceiling is not as high for HBAR now as it was before. But I think the Algarands, the Arbitrums, the VeChains, the Ondos, they are going to catch Hedera, or at least catch where it is now. And I know damn well if HBAR could go from a 7-cent coin to a 26-cent coin and stay there, that's powerful. That's very powerful. And I'm not saying don't buy HBAR. It's not what I'm saying. I love HBAR. I'm just saying, I mean, Hedera is currently better than Avalanche and Litecoin. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? And we were right. We called this one. But I'm just saying that think about what the market cap has to be for you to get 4 or 5x from right here, right now. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So when we talk about Salana being 100 billion, let's just say it's 103. Let's just say it's $100 billion. Salana has to go to $1 trillion to 10x. That's kind of ridiculous. That's too big. Like, what's more likely to happen? Arbitrum or Algorand going to 24 billion, or Salana going to $1 trillion? What's going to happen first? That's what I'm saying. All right. I'm not going to keep talking in circles. But the point here is that when you look at this portfolio and you realize the implications here and how possible this portfolio is to go, it's because of, look at the selection. Look at the coin selection. Ondo, Algo, Vet, Hedera, Jasmy, Arbitrum. That's the main bulk of this portfolio. Under that is ApeCoin, Sui, Injective, Cardano, Avalanche, Render. And from ApeCoin to AVAX, there's currently sitting between 28,000, 21,000 per coin. And everything under that's kind of a splash. 7 grand of this, 12 grand of that, 4 grand of this, whatever grand of that. And you get my point. But the bulk of this bag, what the meat and potatoes here, that's going to make or break my bull run. Ondo, Algo, VeChain, Hedera, Jasmy, Arbitrum. That's it. That's it. And all of those coins have the potential. I mean, Hedera is more of the anchor of the entire portfolio. Really, Hedera and Cardano are the two anchors, as in the larger coins, and Sui, the larger coins that kind of help the stability rather than the upside. All right. But I do think that that this bag is going to go very far. Do I think this bag alone is going to 6 million? No. But if this bag goes to 2.5, $3 million, I'd be cool with that. And to be clear, this is not the only bag. Other camera died. That's not the only bag I have. That's just the public bag we built on this channel, and I'm super big on it. Let me check the chat here. Holy shout out the Crypto Lifer in the chat. What's up, dude? The homie sent $100 super chat, and he said, "Let's go, bro. Let's go." It's actually super funny. I'll tell you guys this story. I was at my sister's wedding last weekend. We let them stay here. It's massive. We live in a really big house on the water, and we had everyone over, like doing their makeup, like getting ready for the wedding, and we had a photographer. And a photographer kind of peeks into my room here, and he's like, "Oh shit, like you're a crypto YouTuber." I was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "You know Lifer?" I was like, "Of course I know Lifer. I've known Lifer for 3 years. That dude's my boy. Like we go back. Like, you know what I mean? Like Lifer is a cool dude." He's like, "Yeah, I've been following him forever. I love stuff." And I was like, "Dude, that's amazing." I literally took a picture of him and sent it to Sam. And I was like, "Look," and he was like, "Dude, what the hell?" And that's just crazy. Like how you don't think about like how far crypto reaches just like to your everyday person. You know what I mean? And like, dude, Lifer is killing it. I mean, dude, shout out to the Lifers, man. That's a guy that worked hard, discipline over drama, put his head down and just kept running. And it shows. And I think that, I think it's such an important thing to, if you're trying to be a person that's trying to get to 100K for the first time, or you're trying to get to 50K for the first time, if you're like still in the gutter working your ass off, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a derogatory statement. I came from the gutter. I'm still getting the dirt off my shoe. I'm with you, brother. You know what I mean? But if you're someone here watching this show that's trying to find success for the first time, you need to closely examine the actions, tendencies, and behavior of multiple people that have the come from nothing, come up story. People like me, people like Lifer, that worked their asses off, had a single vision, and focused on nothing else. Not saying we don't have families, not saying we don't have friends, not saying we don't have fun. I play way harder than I work, but I work more than I play. Okay. But I think it's really important, guys, to, if you're trying to replicate someone else's success, also look at who inspired that person. Because Lifer was someone I used to call on the phone every now and then, just ask how he was doing, or dude, how did you get through this? Or what, like when you run into a problem like that, what did you do? And you need to have people like that. You need to do the best you can to network up the ladder, and not for like a clout thing, but as a, when you were at my position, what did you do? Because I think the truth is, in crypto, too many people white knuckle it and try to do it alone. No, no. This in crypto, trading crypto is the hardest, one of the hardest things you'll probably ever do ever. And to try to do this alone, no way. Impossible. Impossible. I couldn't have got here without CryptoFace. I couldn't have got here without Lifer or Altcoin Daily or Wendy, all the people who helped me along the way. No way. So I think it's important to really look at that. Take a long look at all the people that have had that type of success, to try to find the common denominator of what they did. Excuse me. And what me and Lifer did is just continue every single day. Every single day. Shout out to Lifer, man. Shout out to his community. Dude, I'm so stoked for that guy. And that's how you know when you reach a level of success, when you're like happy to see other people succeed. There are people in my life that when I succeed, they secretly hate it. And there are people in my life that when I succeed, they're like genuinely happy for you. And I think it's really important to not even give in to the other side of that matrix, because people are trying to pull you down to their level. Don't let them do it. And the sticky problem is that those people that are trying to pull you down, a lot of times are family. And you got to know how to cut that off. You can't have that. You are not going to get out of the gutter if people are trying to pull you back in it. Man, appreciate you guys. Algo will end up with a 13.4 billion market cap. Will it? Will it? I hope you're right, bro. Shout out to SWFL. We have to jump on a call, man. It's been a while. It's been a while, SWFL. Hit me up. Here, let's actually talk about that. So let me pull this over. If Algarand, and then I'm going to do the call out charts. We're going to hit the road, but I got a handful of things we still got to do on today's show. Algorand, if show more controls, market cap. If Algorand went to a 13.4 billion, was that the number? 13.4. I scrolled below it. Hold on. I'm on two different computers. I got confused. 13.4 bill. All right. All right. 13.4 billion. That would be in $1.54 Algorand, 468% from here. I like that. I like that. I think a lot of people got me wrong when I was talking about Algorand a couple weeks ago, because I was saying like that Algorand minimum dollar, that like if Algorand doesn't go to $1 this bull run, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like I would consider that a failure if Algorand doesn't go to $1 this bull run. But then people took that and twisted it into AJ only thinks Algorand's going to $1. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm saying if $5 is the holy shit ceiling, like, oh my God, ceiling, $1 is the minimum for Algorand, for me. And if you kind of go off gun theory and a couple other things we talked about, we're actually kind of talking $1.12, $1.20. Like in that, but there's a big gap between $1 and $1.20, like, especially from a 27-cent coin. That's a big difference. But $1.54, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I think it's possible. Like I do think it's possible. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm waiting for $1.54 to sell anything, because I think that's the biggest misconception people get. I don't need a coin to get all the way to my price prediction to take profits. In fact, I only need a coin to, based off which coin it is, to 4 or 5x from my average buy price. There's a difference between what a coin can do and what you need a coin to do to reach your personal goal. And if my personal goal is a 4 or 5x and that coin 4.5x's and I sell 70% of the bag, if I'm wrong and the coin 12x's, okay, that's fine. I reached my goal. The other 30% of my bag goes on a ride. You know what I mean? So I think that people get me wrong when I say, oh, I'd sell Algorand at $1. You're damn straight I would. Most of my buying was under 20 cents. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it has more to do with like what I need to do to reach my goals, not what I think a coin can do. And those are two very different things. And it's also a strategy of, okay, I reached my goal. I'm going to sell 70%, and then 10% of what's left of it. If it kind of continues up another 10% of what's left, 10%, 10%, 10%, or if it comes the other way, 10%, 10%, 10%, and just have the level set and the alarm set, and your chart will look like that underneath your sell and look like that above your sell, and then react. You kind of, it's already done. It's just a matter of clicking the button. Most people don't want to click the button. Guys, you got to click the button. Make sure you click the button, everybody. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Lifer, man. And Crypto Lifer, he won, he wasn't at the influencer awards, but he did win, I believe, best technical analysis, I believe, and he deserves it. He deserves it for sure. Guys, I'm not going to mention BitBoy every single time I thank people who are in my life. Like there's a difference between what Ben did and what CryptoFace did, or what Ben did and what Altcoin Daily did. And like there is a point where like if I thank a group of people and leave out Ben, it's because he's psychotic and is currently in a mental institution, and I'm trying to distance myself from all of that drama. I have completely broken off on my own brand, on my own channel. I'm not going to mention his name every time I thank people who helped me, because if like there was a part of, yeah, he helped, and there was a part of he messed a lot of things up. He held me back. Like you guys weren't there. Y'all weren't there. You didn't know. You don't know. There's stuff you don't know. There's stuff you'll never know. You'll never know. And it's dumb. And I don't like need to pat that back every time I thank the people who helped me. And like, it is what it is. Like, I'm a grown ass man, and what he did was completely wrong. And I'm actually really interested the day he gets out, because we're all going to hear about it. And I wonder if he actually is going to make a change, or if he's just going to did nothing wrong completely. You know, I'm a victim. Is he going to play the victim, or is he going to be a grown man and say, I'm sorry? That's what I'm looking forward to. So I'm not going to talk about that every time I thank people. That's not me being ungrateful. That's me distancing myself from shit that needs to stay in the past. I'm not going to talk about it much, but every now and then I see something and I'm just like, guys, like, come on. Like, Altcoin Daily and CryptoFace and Wendy and all them, they all helped me to get out of that. Okay? That's just like saying, why didn't you thank TJ? Yeah, TJ helped me too. But like, I'm not going to say his name every time I thank people. It's the same thing. Like, I think it's really important to say that, especially to you guys who are like to the people who follow me every day, rather to the people who follow me sometimes. I have to say that to you guys because you might not know where I stand. But I'm not going to beat it up either. I want to leave it in the past where it belongs. All right. So, oh yeah. So we got the call out charts here. So we'll go back to Arbitum where we left. And guys, I am telling you, big time. Arbitum, 49.5 cents. That is your alarm. It doesn't even have a bull cross on the daily yet. And that's another thing you kind of got to pay attention to, is that Ethereum is already past its December high. That's good. That's good to know, because once the large caps bleed and this all goes into low caps, we're going to see the low caps run. And that's obviously what we're all waiting for. There's a timeline here, and it doesn't happen when you want it to. It happens when it happens. And even looking, I really like the others chart. Others is really important because it is the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10. I like this more than total 3 because total 3 still includes stable coins and the rest of the coins in the top 10. So if you look at CoinMarketCap or whatever, so it starts with Chainlink down. So Cardano, Tron, Doge, I mean, those are all really large market caps. Even the Salana, XRP. I mean, total 3, it just subtracts Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, that's a good chart to look at, but it's getting weighed down by XRP at 193 billion. It's getting weighed down by Salana and BNB and Tether even. And you know what I mean? So the others chart is a much more accurate indicator for your everyday altcoin because it's all of the crypto market cap minus the top 10. All right. And that is only $307 billion. And when you put in perspective, you know, that really, I want people to really understand that because guys, like Ethereum is $554 billion. Just Ethereum, $554 billion. So everything outside of the top 10, everything outside of the top 10 is about, $250 billion smaller than Ethereum. That's crazy. That is insane. One, it shows you how large Ethereum is. And two, it shows you that when altcoins wake up, their ceiling is just so high. High ceiling for alts. And another thing I want to point out when you're looking at the others chart, all right, the previous bull cross on the daily right here. What happened? Wait, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, cool. Previous bull cross on the daily. What happened? Oh, 237% pump 208 days after that. This bull cross on the daily right here. What happened? 101% pump after that. Well, guess what, everybody? We got our bull cross a couple days back. Really, at some point in July, actually, a couple weeks back. The sky is the limit, ladies and gentlemen. And if you consider, okay, well, one, we're looking at fib levels here from the previous high to now. And we have been rejected by the 382, okay? And we've also have bounced off 618 and 786. But if you kind of ignore Fibonacci and appreciate, okay, well, this is the previous high of the 2021 run, where all of altcoins outside of the top 10 added to just under 500 billion. Just under it, all right? But now, if you kind of look at how we put in a higher high here, okay, and then understand that these two lines are September this year until December this year. So really, Q3, Q4 this year. And if we continue this trend line, we very well could break above this previous support resistance right here, where I would say that's minimum. Getting above the top 10 down, getting above where it was back in November of 21 should be a walk in the park. It really should be a walk in the park, like without a doubt. And say it goes to the top of this uptrend in September, that'd be 75% or 87%. And I would like to see that continue. I would like to see that. I would like to see that break, actually. Yeah, I think that 500 billion will become the new floor. And I think that the entire industry, the water level will rise. Obviously, there will be bear markets. There will be coins that go away. A lot of the money is concentrated into the coins everyone's paying attention to. But it's the coins the utility projects that people are actually going to use that are going to make a difference. And I think that if you kind of look at the value prop for a lot of really, high hype altcoins and look at the coins that I'm holding from Ondo, Algo, Vet, HBAR, Jasmine, Arbitum, and even, you know, the ones under it. There is a reason that is my top 6. There are good reasons for all of that. And I think I can't wait for the day where I can say, I told you so. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. But I can't wait for like the bull market one. All right. A big shout out. Lifer hit 100K subs today. That's dope. That's dope. Of course he did, dude. He deserves it. I'm surprised he didn't hit that a year ago or 2 years ago. Like, the guy's been grinding forever, dude. You know what I mean? And then some people are kind of like, hey, Joe, like, oh, like you're still not a million subs yet. I'm like, dude, you know how hard it is just to get to 10K on YouTube? YouTube's a different animal, man. It's a completely different animal. And like, it's a grind. It's a grind. You got to work hard. But I'm also like, honestly, like, seriously, I like enjoy being a smaller creator. Like, it's fun. Like, you can make mistakes. You can try different things. You can do a video, make on a looper, make in front of your uncle. Like, you can have fun with it. You know what I mean? And that's when people really discover you and kind of enjoy the trajectory. And the cool thing is that you guys will be like able to say, once I get to 100K, oh shit, I followed him at 20 or 16 or whatever. It's a part of the journey. And the people who buy their followers to act bigger than they are, which is a lot of people in crypto, that actually pisses me off. They're only robbing themselves. They're only robbing themselves, man. All right, let's go to the shout outs here. All right, let's start with the Epic EPIC. This is a video we talked about. Is this the right chart that we use? Oops, I mean, yeah. This is a video we made on the channel a couple weeks back. Oh yeah, this thing had a solid run. I forget what chart we used though, because I know I charted it. Did we use the perpetual? Yes. Okay. There we go. So yeah, this thing's doing really good, because I remember when I made this video, it was like kind of in this. It was doing this. And from there, we kind of had the bottom from August. Let's actually just measure from the August low to the top, 47% in 4 days. Damn. And now it's kind of wiggling from support resistance. It did lose that big alarm at 210. You guys should have had that alarm, because I did this on a live stream, and it is testing the 200 EMA on a 2-hour. And the next stop down is 194. Hopefully it doesn't keep falling. I think that this is a coin that's going to do pretty well. It is backed by Ripple. There's a lot to talk about with this project. I'm not going to do a whole breakdown when I have a video. One of my more recent videos is on this coin. You'll see it. But I still think that, you know, there's going to be ebbs and flows. Obviously, nothing just goes up and to the right forever. But I think that, you know, even using this previous wick or even the body of the candle as targets, I mean, that's 34%, 52% back to 316 from now. I think any Epic that you could buy, and also let's consider local support resistance, which is here. And let me zoom in on this like a 12-minute chart so I can show you. Come on, you can do it. Come on, Mr. Chart, work with me now. There we go. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so it's really solid that we have not lost this level, and that is not charted. That's 203. So because the 194 level that is on the chart, I always leave my brush on, is down here. It's actually that level. So local low that matters is 203, 204. And when you kind of draw the downtrend of this, you can kind of see, all right, well, we kind of got that intersecting with this by August 14th. So 2 days from now, it will either have to lose this support resistance level at 203 or break. So you could say, I mean, I don't know if this thing has volume to short heavy, but it does have a Binance listing. I wouldn't be surprised to see it get a Coinbase listing. It's listed on Bitunix and everything else. It had a solid run up, like we said, 47 some percent, and then it kind of ranged in here and I'll range back down. But I would say the breaking point would be this box, because as you notice, this box, let me actually make the rectangle. The price has not spent much time, even look how many times it's been rejected in this box. Let me pull the chart up. You see the You see the several rejections here, and then you see how it bounced, and now here we are approaching that again. And I would say if it loses this box, it's very likely to go through that box, giving the gap in the volume profile where the next big level on the chart that we had marked is 194, where the floor level of this range is sitting here at 203, 204. So yeah, I would like to see it bounce. So that's why I would also have that downtrend alarm set. This downtrend alarm, I would set that up, and I would also set breakout level for that alarm at 210. 210 is a bullish alarm for Epic. All right, moving on. GRT weekly, I'll do that one last. Jasmine. I also have 3 charts, not 1, not 2. 3 charts. I am giving the Telegram group a little bit after the live stream. Not right after the live stream, but after the live stream, you'll get some charts. I already have them picked out. Already looking at them. Pendle is one I charted forever ago, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm already at 1:16. But maybe I'll give that one to the Telegram group. Maybe I'll add Pendle to the list. Yeah, I'll look at it. It depends. I wrote it down though. That's step 1. But the Telegram group's getting some setups today. Jasmine, man, I'm sure my buddy Jesse is super happy today to see it finally wake back up. We got rejected at just under 2 pennies. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a coin. Oh wow, this is a chart I haven't looked at, or I started charting it differently somewhere else. Okay, let's just do a different Jasmine chart so I can have it clean. Okay, that I can live with. So Jasmine has had some big runs, massive runs. Let me scoot this all over here. All right. Point of control is a little bit above where the price action is right now. So we know that. All right. So what I like about this one is that, okay, it explodes when it pumps. That's thing number 1. Explodes, kind of sideways, explodes, kind of has its downtrend. And look, and let's kind of use this breakout from downtrend, boom, okay? And this breakout here had its bull cross, or even from the breakout point, talking 200% from the breakout, completely ridiculous from that one. So let's kind of use that as an experiment for what to expect this time. Because this time, it's not as simple as this downtrend is kind of more of a curved downtrend, because there was this, but now you can see how it's turning out and actually got kind of more like an isotope like that. So I would say that the levels where it's been rejected from, which is actually kind of the heart of this previous range back here, as you can see, it's been rejected here twice now. Once here, once here. All right. So that is a big deal. Why? Because it's forming an ascending triangle. Now, the ascending triangles, you have measured moves, just like you would have in a cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders, what have you. And that would put us up to there, which is lower than the previous high. But even if you measure from current price to the top of the measured move, would be about 95, 94% to 3.5 cents. I obviously think Jasmine's going to go much higher than 3.5 cents, but it is good to have that kind of figured out. And the other thing is that this pump is important, because if you look at this previous range, where if this was the floor down here, can you guys see that? You can. Where this was the floor and this was the ceiling, okay, that tells me that it should be kind of trying to push up into here, where these were kind of the outliers of the pump. So that is something I really want to look at, so we're already back inside of this range, and the top of this range is 2.7. We're currently sitting at 1.8. So, okay, we broke back into the range. If we go to the top of the range like we've done before, that's still 48%. That's good. That's really good. So I like the ascending triangle. Obviously, big breakout alarm for Jasmine is at 0.021. Yeah, 0.021. And if we break that level right there, this thing's going to go. This thing's going to absolutely rip. And similar to the chart before, what I like about this one is that it put in higher highs. So you guys do the math on that. Very, very well. Could, let's look. October. So look, September right here. December of 20 or even Jan 26 or December 25 right here. Okay. And I mean, that's up there. That's up there. And Jesse Walker, when we did the Jasmine price prediction, he did say 10 cents. And that makes sense, actually, based off the projection there, where 8 cents would be 361 and 9 cents, which would be aligned with the trend line, basically January 1st, based off of time, would be an exactly 400% pump to 9 cents. And don't think that's impossible for Jasmine. I mean, that's not at all impossible for Jasmine. I mean, look at it. I mean, and this is why when you're dealing with coins that have smaller market caps, it's completely possible for a 9 cent Jasmine to happen. I mean, a 9 cent Jasmine would only require a $4.4 billion market cap. That's not that much money. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking a coin that's under $1 billion now. It has insane tokenomics. 97% of the supply is already in circulation. You don't even got to worry about that. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, Jasmine might be one people sleep on. I'm not missing Jasmine. I'm not missing Jasmine at all. I mean, it's the 5th largest holding in my bag, in my public bag. I have $53,000 in Jasmine. And if you click on it, I am up 10% average buy 1.6. It's funny, my average buy in my other portfolio is like 101 or 102 or something. But yeah, we're up 5 G's on that, 10%. That's just getting started. Just getting started. Where's my chart I was just at? Okay, Jasmine. All right, we talked Jasmine. So you have your target, breakout alarm 0.021. Target 1, which is the top support resistance for the top of the previous range, right there. That level from the current price is a 50% move, and that's only to 0.027. And then from there, obviously target 3.4. I mean 0.034, and then 4 cents, and then what was the local high? 5.8. Okay, so that's kind of what your Jasmine chart should look like. All right, VeChain. Vet, where's the VFam out in the chat? Let me know. Give me a VET in the chat if you are a vet holder. I want to know. I don't want to go with that one. I want to go with a clean chart that I haven't clicked on a bunch of times. Oh, that's not it. That's not the one. That's kind of too far back. Let me find it. Is Phoenix? Okay, here we go. This I can work with. All right, so VeChain, similar to Jasmine, similar to Arbitum, you know, it had its December pump and has come down the hill. What I like about VeChain is that it has been putting in higher highs. Even from there, it aligns with that. Okay, so even if we're just talking top of trend line 26, I mean, top of trend line end of this year, you know, we're looking at 11 cents, even if it just respected this trend line, where current price 2.5 cents to 11 cents would be 331%. I'd be cool with that. That's ridiculous. But so kind of talking about trend lines, you know, we can't just have like, you know, how this pump back here, let me kind of pull this up a little bit. How this pump back here, we kind of had trend line and then breakout pump. Similar to Jasmine, this is not a perfect trend line where it kind of comes down, it's curved out like this. And curved trend lines are certainly a thing. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. They are a thing. So if we kind of follow this down that way, you can see how it's been getting kind of tighter as things go. And if you want to simplify this, you could kind of look at this like a little pennant and just go off these two downtrends like that. And that makes a lot of sense. All right, so let me pull this in. All right, there we go. So I would say breaking this previous high, which makes a lot of sense because it was SR from way back here, way back there. Kind of pull it down a little bit. As you can see, we were floor ceiling here and then also rejected here. Let me kind of change the color of that level just so it doesn't blend with the downtrends. Make it blue or something. Okay. So that blue line is really like a very important alarm to set for VeChain holders because that would be breaking the previous high. So that alarm is 0.029. So what I'm going to say is that if VeChain hits 3 cents, it will have broken that line. So I would say, to make the math easy, 3 cents is the level we want to break. We're in a pennant. The thing about the pennant is that this point of intersection here is like, this is October. So it doesn't have much time. By the end of the year, it will be forced to break local up or break local down. And I think it's very likely to break up. Very likely to break up given the direction of the trends, or even actually, this is not drawn perfectly because we drew it from the daily chart. So let's actually fix this. Let me just redraw it because the chart goes too far out. All right, I would actually draw it like that. Not like that. All right, I would actually look at it like that. All right, and 3 cents, big level. And then, of course, this previous high from the summer right there would be target 1 at 3.4. So from 3 cents, nope, not that. Where's my measuring stick? So from 3 cents to that level would be 15, 14% to almost 3.5 cents. And that target from the current price, I mean, shit, that's 33%. That's solid. And that's where things get interesting. So let's zoom out more to like the 4 or 6 hour. Let's look at a 6 hour. All right. That's where things get interesting. Because if you look at this, you realize that there's kind of a no man's land in VeChain, where if you look at this support resistance from all the way back there, let me pull this up. So this level right here, that has been a very big deal. Because when it went above, see how this box of chop sat above that level? And look, even right here, see how it would reject down to it, but ultimately stay above it? I mean, that like, it came all the way. I mean, this thing went to almost 8 cents. But when it would retest, it would come back down to this level, test and go back up, test, and then even go back up to here, 5.7, and then go back to this level. So although 3 cents and 3.4, that's like local range stuff. The big support resistance level you want to get above for VeChain, which was the first stop for the previous pumps, that's 3.9. Let's just call it 4 cents. And it's 53% below that now. For VET to go back to its December high from the current price, we're talking 210%. You get my point. That level, let's just say I'm just going to say 3.95. 3.95 is big target. 3 cents is our first target, and the target above that's 3.4. Those are the levels. We have a pennant. We believe it's going to break to the upside. I'm willing to bet that. And even if VeChain, gets back to December and gets rejected, that's still a 2x, not a 1x, a 2x. And from there, the sky is the limit. I would, obviously I have my VeChain price prediction changes every day, to be honest. There's news that happened yesterday that could affect it. You know what I mean? Like with UFC signing a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount, and pay-per-views are eliminated. And like, is that going to help or hurt all the coins and all the projects and the visibility of all the projects that are partnering with UFC? I would say it helps them. Or I would say the price of VeChain, based off of the attention business, should go up because of the deal that UFC made. So like, based off of this chart, it would be insane if VET broke this level and went above 12 cents, 11 cents. I think VeChain could 10x. I think VeChain could go to 30 cents or even more. But am I sitting around waiting on that to happen before I sell anything? No. There's a big difference between what I need a coin to do and what a coin can do. And everyone has a different average buy price. And so you do have to consider that. I mean, even just respecting that trend line and getting to 11, 12 cents be 341%. That's really good, guys. You can't just show up in a normal risk asset like the stock market, for instance, and expect to multiply your money by 350%. That's not normal. So I think respecting gains, it doesn't have to be a 10x to be a respectable gain. I think too many people in crypto are kind of entitled to what's normal, and just because their barometer, their measuring stick is skewed based off of someone else. I've been going on for way too long here. I quickly want to look at GRT. I'm going to stop after GRT because this stream's already over an hour and a half. I know some people that miss the stream. If the stream's like too long, they won't watch it because it's too much of a commitment. But so maybe we'll do Ondo tomorrow and a couple other coins tomorrow. But we have already been going very long on this one. This is all bad. Let me try to find a graph chart that's naked here. And we are only looking at a weekly, so hold on. I mean, graph is one that just because the project had really bad token. Do you know what? Do you know why the chart looks as bad as it does? Because there were almost no coins in circulation here, and even less coins in circulation here, and even less coins in circulation here. And now that it has not a terrible tokenomics, with just rough tokenomics. Where is GRT right now? Hold on one second. Where's my? There we go. Because this gives you a quick overview of the tokenomics. GRT. So GRT. Okay, now 97% of the supply is in circulation. The graph now has the best tokenomic scenario than it's ever had in the history of its chart. Because back here, only 10% of the coins were in circulation. So that's what happens to a coin when it starts with bad circulation and turns into good circulation. But now any pump that we have is real. It's real because the tokens aren't going to, wash out the value. It's not going to deflate the chart. Basically, inflation is what we saw happen to this chart. And what I do like about this chart, a couple things, is that it established a floor and held it. That's thing number one. It established this floor back in the bottom of the bear market in 22, and it didn't go lower than that level. That's good. That's good. That shows me that it has life, that is a viable chart. And we did see, this is a weekly chart, by the way. We did see some pretty serious moves from basically that bottom to the top in March 24, 778%. Or even if you only want to go from this low here from October 23, in 140 days, from October 23 to March 24, this thing pumped 526%. And that pump started below the 50 EMA on a weekly chart right here. Right there. So don't tell me that this coin is not viable. It certainly is. Even more recently, it goes below the weekly on the 50. And then what did it do? It established a floor right here at the time. Okay. And that was at 12 cents. That was the floor at the time. And what did it do from that floor to the top here? 172% in 119 days. Not bad. Not bad. And also another important thing you want to acknowledge here is that the top of this, even kind of go from there, kind of draw the line across that and realize that this is like range number one. Here, let me extend this over. All right. So this bottom range, it's spent a lot of time down here, and it's even where we are now is range one. The next step up is this range. This box is range two. And just to go from where we are now to the top of range two, that's 93%. But almost double your money just to get to that level from here. Don't tell me this coin's not viable. Has it been boring? Yes. Has it been a hard call to hodl? Yes. Does it have upside? Absolutely. Absolutely it does. Even if the graph just goes back to its December high, that's 246% from here. That's solid bull market gains, guys. Solid bull market gains. If it goes back to the 24 high, the March 24 high from here, that's 375%. If you're not willing to take profits at 375%, you need to get into a different industry. Like for real. I mean, that's ridiculous. And of course, wick to wick, that should be your trend line. Body to body, this should be your trend line. And yeah, it does have some ways to go. It does have some ways to go, but obviously big alarm, massive alarm at 0.126. So a little over 12.5 cents, very large alarm for the graph. And if that alarm goes off on the graph, here's the 50 EMA, which is basically sitting on top of that alarm. We will break the 50 on the weekly if that alarm goes off. That's powerful. That's very powerful. Shifting to a 2-day, we are about to close above the 50 EMA on the 2-day. And on the daily, we already got above it. And we're pushing for a bull cross. And if you look at the behavior of the graph reacting to bull crosses, well, let's look at the previous two. There was this one here, bull cross, bang, 357%. And this one here, which bull crossed after, but it kind of still on the way up, bang, 77%. And now it has been basically sideways forever. But it has what do I like about the more recent meta for the graph? All right. It has been putting in higher lows across the board. And also we can kind of form that into a pennant because it's been putting in lower highs locally. It has to break one way or the other, and it has recently been rejected by the 200 EMA on the daily chart the past two previous times, which is why this 0.127, 0.126, if that alarm goes off, we're above the 200 EMA on the daily. That's your alarm for the graph. If that alarm goes off, sky's the limit. I have not given up on this coin, not at all. But am I buying more? No. Am I selling what I bought? No. But am I buying more? Also no. So I don't hate the graph at all. It does have a very high ceiling. The graph has a higher ceiling than most top 10 coins. It does. It does. I think anything's possible. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for the recognition on Ondo. I got you, MJ7. Come back tomorrow. We will do Ondo and a bunch of other stuff tomorrow. Celebrity Games wants APT. So tomorrow I'm going to do Pendle, Ondo, Aptos, and a couple more. And of course, make sure, guys, if you're not in the Telegram group yet, get your ass in there. Send an email to ajalphagroup@gmail.com. I'm going to give the Telegram group a bunch of setups. Probably in a couple hours, I'm going to chill for a bit, hang out with the baby. Then I'm going to get to work. I already have the coins picked out, kind of watching a couple of alarms myself, but you guys will be the first to know about them. The Telegram group, obviously when I travel, I'm not posting every day because I'm traveling, but when I'm home, we're working. So we are going to get to work. We are live streaming tomorrow. I will be going to Chicago Thursday, but I will still make an effort to make some content while I'm traveling. And we're going to have a really good time at UFC. And like I said, guys, we did push the deadline for the Tesla giveaway or the money, $42,000, whatever you want. We'll give you the car or the money. We pushed that back. We pushed that back to 1 week. So Monday, the 18th is the deadline for the second of 4 Tesla giveaways. So basically, so we already gave away 1 Tesla. The second Tesla giveaway ends Monday. So 6 days from now. Then we're doing a 3rd Tesla giveaway in September. And then in December to end the year, we're giving away a Cybertruck. A Cybertruck, ladies and gentlemen. Someone in the audience is going to win a Cybertruck. Only here at AJ Writes Crypto. I do appreciate you all. Without you guys, I would not be this year's Web3 Influencer of the Year. Very proud of it. I know I'm a smaller channel, but I'm also an up-and-comer that you cannot ignore. Normal people don't go from barely paying rent to 7 figures in less than 600 days. I did it, and now I'm trying to help you guys replicate my success. This is a no bullshit channel. This is the life hack is to work harder than everyone else. I'm not going to teach you shortcuts. I'm not going to teach you how to quickly. I'm not going to teach you how to quickly do anything. I'm going to teach you how to work hard. I'm going to teach you how to focus on the correct thing. So when you're working, you're doing it efficiently. And when you do that every day, you're going to find success. You're going to find success. If you focus on one topic every day for 5 or 6 hours a day, every day, you're going to find success. That's how I did it. There is no life hack. The life hack is hard work. Get rich or get wrecked. See you guys tomorrow. Smash the like button. Peace.